Oils.
If you're just tuning in, make sure you like and share the stream. Bubba Kashaw.
Call it on come.
Bro, turn the camera up just a little bit. Come on, just take it up just a little bit. Come on. You want to get some of the bottom of the letters in.
You post somebody on that, but tag somebody on that too. Just post how about
You press add.
press what?
The add button. You gotta go to the add in your keyboard.
All right. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Yeah, right. All right. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shah Brakathum to the brothers. Yahweh Shemar Alathan Bahashim, Yahweh Shah to the sisters. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, out of Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA.
That's right.
We are not affiliated with no other Israelite group or Christian organization, and we teach the truth according to the Bible. And that's that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the real Jews. You understand? According to the Bible. And that the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
You understand? Before we get started, make sure you like and share the stream. You understand? We got a heavy class to go into tonight. It's something that has plagued the black, Hispanic, and Native American community for decades, for ages. You understand? The topic we're going to go into tonight, I'm willing to guarantee everybody that's watching, everybody that's in class, has directly or indirectly been affected by what we're going into tonight. You understand? Or you've known somebody that has suffered from this. You understand? The topic of tonight's class is child molestation and sexual deviancy in the black community. You understand? I'm Officer of 1,000, Kazak Ahmad. I got the brothers in here rocking and rolling with me. This is I.S.U.P.K, Washington, D.C., and we're going to get it in. So first, before we start, let's get that article. Let's get some facts about child molestation, right? We can pull 1 and 2. I sent you about child molestation.
It's about 5. Oh, child molestation.
Yeah.
Come.
Just let me know which one you pull so I can follow along, Bobby Shaw.
Okay. I'm going to go to the very first one.
That's
1.
That's the why. He doesn't do it in order. Right, so let's. This is on. We get a little bit more volume, Bobby Shaw, just a little bit. That's the wild. That's the wild. Yeah, that'll work. The water rock.
No Swisher.
All right, so before we begin, let's go into some facts about child molestation. You understand? Let's go into some facts, some staggering facts about the abuse, the sexual abuse of children. You understand? In the United States. Right? So go ahead, bro. I can start that off.
Title of the article is going to be Step 1, Learn the Facts. Understanding the facts about Understanding the facts about child sexual abuse can help you better protect the children in your life. The facts are astounding. Experts estimate that 1 in 10 children are sexually abused before their 18th birthday.
Right? So experts estimate that 1 in 10 children are sexually abused before their 18th birthday. Now, once again, you're going to hear different numbers. This is one of the more what's the word I'm going to use? It's still sad, but this one is not as bad as the other numbers we're going to get. You understand? We're going to get another article just to reassure, you understand, that these numbers are what they are. So it says 1 in 10 children, which is still a lot, which means if you have 10 children in a room, it is guaranteed that 1 of those children have been sexually abused. You understand? Keep reading.
Carnival concert. 30% of children are abused by family members.
30% of children are abused by family members. Meaning, if you have 3 children, you understand, that have been abused, if you have 10 children that have been abused, 3 of those children have been abused by direct family members. You understand? Like, this shows you just how disgusting this place is.
Right.
Let's keep going.
Come. As many as 60% are abused by people the family trusts.
As many as 60% are abused by people the family trusts. You know that whole thing that we were taught as children, stranger danger? Well, sad to say, children are more likely to be molested by people that the family trusts and that they know than a goddamn stranger on the street. They are more likely to be molested by a family member than a stranger, or a friend of the family than a stranger. Keep reading.
About 35% of victims are 11 years old or younger.
1/3 of all the victims of child molestation are 11 years old or younger. 11 years old. Just think about what you were doing at 11 or before 11. Think about what your life was like as a child, 11 or younger.
Right. And
now take into consideration that 1/3 of the children that are molested are 11 and younger. Keep reading.
God. Nearly 40% are abused by older or larger children.
Nearly half of the children abused are abused by older or bigger, larger children. Now you got to ask yourself, how is it that children are molesting children? How is that? Somebody break that down. How is it that children are molesting children? Anybody want to take a just shot at that? Go ahead.
Because they were molested themselves.
Because they themselves were molested. And give me more.
Because their family members, and they were watching them, they were trusted next to the younger child, and they could take advantage of them.
Not only that, the society that we live in breeds a culture of children being sexualized. So a lot of times, if children weren't molested themselves, they are acting out what they see on TV, what they hear from adults. Because this society is designed to abuse children, to take advantage of the weak. That's what this society is all about. Taking advantage of the weak. Look at Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are the weak in this place. We are the poor in this place. And we are the most taken advantage of in this place. That's how it is for children. Children are defenseless. And so they are prey to the predators of this society, to this predatory society. Right? Go down to, keep reading. What about stranger danger?
What about stranger danger? Research shows that the greatest risk to children doesn't come from strangers, but from friends and family.
Research shows that the greatest risk to children doesn't come from strangers, but from friends and family. Imagine you are growing up with people that you are supposed to trust and that are supposed to love you and protect you. And those are the ones that end up violating you, that ends up betraying that trust that you have as a child. It leads to other issues in adulthood. And we're going to go into that. We're going to go into these issues that it causes being violated as a child. Keep reading.
About 10% of children who are sexually abused are abused by strangers. People who abuse children look and act just like everyone else. In fact, they often go out of their way to appear trustworthy, seeking out settings where they can gain easy access to children, such as sports leagues, faith centers, clubs, and schools.
Such as sports leagues. Now, this shouldn't be this shouldn't be news to us. More and more boxers are coming out how they were molested. Sugar Ray Leonard was molested. Mike Tyson was molested.
His sister, The sister Simone Biles.
Simone Biles was molested by her trainer. Oscar De La Hoya just came out and said he was molested. Many of these sports figures were violated as children. You understand? And then it said faith centers. What is a faith center? Your church. Your stinking whorehouse called the church, the Christian church. And not just the mega churches. Because we found out that Eddie Long was molesting boys in that mega church. But your backwoods, small town, homegrown church too. That's the problem with you Christians. Whenever we speak about churches and Christian pastors, you think that your church and your pastor is exempt. Like somehow your church has what's the word? Skirted. You understand? Is the exception to what every other church has faced.
Right.
There's child molestation going on in your church too.
That's right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you were a victim of your own church. You understand? Faith centers, clubs, and schools. There's a sister I used to work with, I used to slave with. She was my supervisor. She told me that her daughter, who's 13, she goes to school, middle school in D.C., and she used to get jumped by gay girls. Now, this girl is 13 now, middle school. She told me that she had to go up to the school because her daughter had to fight and was getting jumped by gay girls because she was not gay. You mean to tell me at 13 years old, we was fighting at 13, don't get it twisted. We was in middle school fighting like hell, fighting our siblings, fighting everybody. But I don't ever remember having to fight because I wasn't gay. I didn't have to fight the gay mafia, the gay 13-year-old mafia. Go ahead.
Sloppy was the exact opposite. The gay dude had to fight
because he was gay. You understand? Not to say that was right, because you know he's already wrong for living that lifestyle. But brother, the fact that these children have to fight because they choose to not be a sexual deviant speaks volumes on the culture that we live in.
Right.
Speaks volumes about the predatory society that we live in, that we want to take so much part in, that we want to join ourselves to and be so a part of.
Right.
This is what your children are going to have to face. Lord Allah, they don't ever have to face it. And if you come in the I.S.U.P.K, you'll learn how to raise your children up righteously and have the Lord show you some favor where your child may never have to experience these things. But just know, this is the society that we live in.
Right.
You understand? Keep reading, Barack.
God will come. It impacts everyone. It is a root cause of many health and social problems we face in our communities. Consequences to children and to our society begin immediately.
Consequences to children and to our society begin immediately. Let's get some of those consequences. Go ahead, read.
God will come. 70 to 80% of sexual abuse survivors report excessive drug and alcohol use.
Majority of the people, of the children that were molested in their adult years and in some of their later years in childhood, teenage years, they report excessive drug and alcohol use. Meaning, while we looked at the crackhead like, what's your problem? Why you can't beat your habit? While we looked at the fiend and the alcoholic, like, what is wrong with you? Get your life together.
Right.
Nobody sat down to ask, what happened to you? Why are you like this?
Right.
You're coming to find out, majority, 8 out of 10, majority of those people with substance abuse problems were molested, were violated as a child.
Right.
And you know the problem is? The problem is not only just the molestation, but the fact that either they're told not to tell, or they tell and they are not believed, or they feel so shameful about what happened to them that they blame themselves and they just never tell.
Right.
And this causes so much damage to our people. Because now keep in mind, these statistics that we're reading, this is for all races. It's going to tell you that the statistics are worse for those that are lower on the socioeconomic scale. What does that mean? For those that are Black, Hispanic, and Native American, because we are the lowest on the socioeconomic scale. We are the ones that live in poverty. We are the ones that live in the ghettos, the burials, and reservations. And they say these statistics are so much worse in comparison to everybody else. What should that tell you? That the curses in Deuteronomy 28:68 are referring to one set of people. And we are those people. Keep reading.
One study showed that among male survivors, 50% have suicidal thoughts and more than 20% attempt suicide.
Studies show that among male survivors, and let this be a slap in the face to you men-hating feminists. Men are violated too, man. Little boys are violated too. We got to stop this whole exclusion of boys, of our boys. Protect Black women. Black girls rock, Black girl magic. Where's the protection for the Black boys? Because Black boys are just as vulnerable as our young Black girls. And you ask some of these brothers have rationalized in their head their child molestation. Many brothers have been violated and just chucked it up to saying, oh, I just started having sex real early. Brother, your babysitter having sex with you at 9 is not you having sex real early. That's you being molested. That's you being violated. But 50%, half of every man that survives sexual abuse, child abuse, has suicidal thoughts. You understand? Thinks to take his own life. And 20% actually attempt to take their lives. Keep reading.
Young girls who are sexually abused are more likely to develop eating disorders in adolescence.
Now we hear eating disorder, and a lot of times we associate this with white girls and models, and we think this is an affliction of the privileged, an eating disorder. But eating disorders range from, you ever met a sister that can't stop eating sweets? That shit just like, why is she so big? Like, why she can't, you need to lose weight. Why you can't control yourself when you eat? Like, we laugh, but a lot of our sisters are plagued with this, or they can't eat. They don't eat. Or they have to eat particular things all the time. Now all of this is, I'm saying, you got to take this with the totality of the circumstances, because, you know, you have different cases where people just like certain things and people eat a lot and they don't eat a lot. But I'm talking on the extreme cases. Usually this stems from child abuse, being molested. And a lot of sisters, you ask them, you talk to them, they'll tell you they struggle with eating disorders. Why? Because of their self-image. Their entire self-image has been destroyed. Keep reading.
More than 60% of teen first pregnancies are preceded by experiences of molestation, rape, or attempted rape.
More than 60% of teen first pregnancies are preceded by experiences of molestation, rape, or attempted rape. We all had those few girls, or that one girl we knew that got pregnant at 13 or 14. And I remember it was a girl I grew up real close with. She was friends of the family. Her name was Tanasha. And she was a foster child. Yeah, listen, we from the projects. So like, her name was Tanasha. And I remember she developed real early. She just was developed for a young girl. We the same age. And I remember Tanasha got pregnant at 13. And I remember my mom being a Christian, of course, and all the women in the church talking about Tanasha. That fast tail wench. That girl hot in the pants. I knew she was going to be pregnant. This is that. Come to find out, the people that took her in, she was being molested constantly molested. And the sister went out and got pregnant. And she kept the child and raised that child. Still raising that child to this day. You understand? But nobody cared about what happened to Tanasha. Nobody cared to ask Why is a 13-year-old girl pregnant? And even the cat that she got pregnant by, she was 13. The cat was 20 or 21, which shows you how sick, how very sick and deviant our community has become. You understand? For you to be a full-grown man, 2021, and you laying down with a 13-year-old? Keep reading.
Come.
Both male and females who have been sexually abused are more likely to engage in prostitution.
These are things that we know. Like, we shouldn't have to have an article to bring these things out, because these are things we just know as a people. You go ask those prostitutes. Go ask them, and not just the prostitutes. Go ask them transsexual prostitutes, the men that sell their bodies. You go talk to them, man. Go ask them, and you'll find out that these people have been violated as children. And they've been violated, that they've been so destroyed that they have no value of themselves, that they now just sell themselves.
Right.
They now just go and say, well, listen, I was made a victim, so let me at least have control of me victimizing myself. At least let me get paid for it. And they go and subject themselves to victimization over and over and over again. And get paid for it. Keep reading.
Come. The CDC estimates that child abuse costs us billions annually.
The CDC estimates that child abuse costs us billions annually. How could child abuse possibly cost this society billions? Somebody break it down.
It's a lot here.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think too much on it, but just one of the ways I can see is just like how they try to pay a brother or sister off for their child getting murdered. You understand? Like the same thing, like that type of the money that it takes and that crime when it comes to the backlash after dealing with it in the court system wise. I can see how I can see how devilish it is. They'll say that. Of course, using their money, their filthy money, they try to hold themselves not guilty for it, or the person who did it not guilty for it.
Right.
The amount of, I don't know the name of their meetings, the meetings that they would have, the meetings that cost money there, the amount of money it takes providing for somebody who went through that as well.
I'll give it even simpler. You're right, but even simpler. The children that are molested and abused, they turn out to be drug addicts, prostitutes, criminals. And that in turn puts a damper on society, because now you have to create programs to get the people off of drugs, create rehab programs. Now you have to spend all this money to fight the crime of prostitution and murder and violence that comes from these people being violated. Sexual deviancy allowed Sexual deviancy allowed to thrive is the downfall of a society from the inside. It's the moral degradation of a society. Not only does it literally cost billions, but you see how you have an unstable, lawless society because of it. You understand? Keep reading. Barack, if you want to, you can send up these articles to these brothers too, just in case you ain't got to be on one reading the whole time. I got about 4 more articles I'm going into.
I'll finish this one. Sexually abused children who keep the abuse a secret or who tell and are not believed are at greater risk for psychological, emotional, social, and physical problems, often lasting into adulthood.
This is not something foreign to us. You wonder why your rib, you can like, my shorty crazy, my rib crazy. You wonder why she's crazy, brother. 3 out of 4 black women have been molested, meaning majority of the sisters that you run into have been molested as a child or raped. And most of them were not allowed to tell, had to keep it a secret. to keep mama happy, to not stress mama out because mama got to work all these jobs and she already got enough on her plate. Or you don't want to break up mama's relationship with her boyfriend or with her friends. And some sisters actually had the courage to tell. And mama was such a goddamn Christian that she was not believed when she told what happened to her. And what does that do? What happens to a person when they don't receive justice for the injustice that happens to them? Just look at what happened. Well, look at what we do. Look at how we lash out in America because we don't receive justice for the everyday injustices that happen to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It makes you angry all the time. It makes you go and victimize other people. You want to know why the so-called black on black crime rate is so high? Because who else are we going to take our anger out on? The people that are right here in the ghettos with us. The police beat us up and abuse us, and we got to pay all these. We've been extorted by the government. Taxes here, taxes there. Money for everything, money for this, money for that. You need money to make money. We have no say-so in anything. Who else are we going to lash out on? The people that are weak and defenseless just like us. Right. And that's why our community is the way it is. And it's the same with children who have not received justice. They grow up to have severe emotional damage, severe psychological trauma, mental trauma. You understand? That's what happens to our people. That's why it's such a travesty for you weak Negroes. This, and I'm going to get that on the sisters and the brothers, but it's a travesty for you Uncle Tom Sambo weak Uncle Coons to leave a sister or to go get a white girl because you think she's better because she doesn't have the problems that a sister has. Well, guess what? That sister has gone through oppression and hell just like you. Of course, the oppressor's daughter is going to be seen better. Of course, she's not going to have the issues that a sister's going to have. But guess what? Our sister's problems are our problems to deal with. And for you ungrateful, unappreciative sisters, man, I got a couple more words for the sisters, man. I don't want to get flagged. For you broads out there who think going to another race is better, and every chance you get, you down in a brother, and black man ain't this, and black man ain't that, and black man need to do this. You don't understand that his problems are your problems. He's in oppression and hell, just like you. And a lot of times we got to get to the root of what's going on in our community. And child molestation is the biggest thing that nobody wants to talk about in the black community. It's the one thing that's taboo. So, nobody wants to believe, you understand, that their child has been violated. Or nobody wants to hear, you understand, that their child is being molested or violated. Nobody wants to talk about it. You know why? No, you want to know why nobody wants to talk about it? Because black people hate the truth. Black people love the lie. They love things that sound good and feel good. Because our lives are so terrible, we look for comfort and relief in anything we can find it in. But black people hate to hear the truth. Because you know why? The truth is much more sad and much more depressing to find out that majority of black women that you run into are victims. The brothers that you run into that seem so strong, and you just think he got little issues, he's been molested. And it's worse with brothers because brothers is a culture around men not speaking up. There's a culture around boys not saying what happened to them and rationalizing it was just, I just started having sex with her. I was lucky I got to have this experience. Bragging to your homies. When you talk to somebody that understands, brother, you were violated. And you know you were violated, man. Right. And our people have to rationalize and compartmentalize these things and keep pushing and living in this hell. So I can drop that, go to the next article. We got anything online, Barack?
Just a whole lot of check-ins. Nothing yet.
No sweat.
Nothing yet.
Let's go to the next article.
Hold on 1 second, pulling it up. You got the third one.
It is facts and stats.
Come. Facts and stats about child abuse. The facts are staggering. There are more than 42 million survivors of sexual abuse in America.
42 million survivors of sexual abuse in America. Keep reading.
Come. This is recorded by the National Association of Adult Survivors of Child Abuse. 1 in 3 girls are sexually abused before the age of 18.
1 in 3 girls. Now, this is for all races. Keep in mind now, so this means if you meet 3 women, one of those 3 women have been molested. And that's if you grab 3 women from all demographics. This is not talking about if you grab 3 Black, Hispanic, or Native American women. Because these facts, child molestation and abuse and victimization is higher in the people in the lower socioeconomic status. So if 1 out of 3 white girls have been molested, you can imagine what the rate is for our people, for our sisters, for our brothers. You understand? This is the majority of the women you meet. Go ahead.
Like in my experience coming up, just talking to my, you say your homegirls, you know what I'm saying, from around the way, all of them were molested.
Listen, I didn't want to bring it up.
Oh yeah.
But every sister that I have known, when I say known, I'm talking about biblically known. You understand? Me in the world, they all were molested. Every last one of them. To the point where I had to ask my mother, I was like, what is it about me that these women are attracted to me? Because in my mind, I couldn't compute, like, why is it that I always get the sisters that have been molested? It didn't dawn on me that this is a pandemic, a crisis in the Black community. It had nothing to do with me. It's just that this happens so frequently. You are fortunate to run into a sister that this has not happened to. This is how bad it is. You telling me that we don't have a problem in our community? You telling me that God is good all the time? God is punishing our people, man. This is something that our people live with up into adulthood, and it shapes how you think, how you interact with people, how you process the world, how you view yourself. Barack?
God, you so right, because like young brothers and sisters, young children don't understand, like, you being sexualized even by like we said with a lot of celebrity concerts and whatnot. Them seeing and Lil Nas X doing everything he's doing, like they're being sexualized by being exposed to such a thing, and it's not being exposed in a negative way, but everybody's seeing it as just something good. Where there's a lot of darkness behind it, and on top of that, like on another point, young brothers and sisters, like you said with the 13-year-old that got pregnant,
right?
And they grow a little faster at a young age. Some of them sisters been sexualized since they was 8 years old, 9 years old. Only type of love they know and have ever experienced was something of sexual desire.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's always been something of some sexual desire.
Right.
And then even when dealing with the gay community, like just like going into an interview, you gotta change your voice. You gotta say, yeah, I'm good, but you gotta stay over there. You gotta say you have to act a whole different way. Right. Because it's like, for you to have your own opinion as a Black man, it's just, you're automatically considered homophobic. Right. Like, it's all types of terminologies and all that type of stuff now, just off of the fact, like, and this is a whole sexualized thing that young brothers and sisters are growing up in. Right. You know what I mean?
That's because this society is a predatory society. Anybody that speaks up for the weak, for the poor, for the victims, they're looked at as the problem. Right. Like, let us violate these people without problem. Right. And we're going to get it in the Bible. That's the spirit of the LGBT community. And make no mistake about it. You want to advocate for LGBT rights when part of the LGBT community is man-boy love, is the right for pedophiles. Now this is what I want to ask anybody that advocates for these LGBT rights. Do y'all accept the pedophiles in your community? Yes or no? If anybody advocates for the LGBT community and that's not scared to answer, put it in the chat. Since you advocate for LGBT rights, does your community accept pedophiles. You understand? Salakia, pedosexuals. Ask the people in the LGBT community if they accept them or not. If they say they don't accept them, then say they are hypocrites. Why are they hypocrites? Because love is love. If two men can lay together and two women can lay together, then surely a man and a boy can lay together. But I'll be surprised if anybody in the LGBT community will admit that they advocate for pedosexuals as well. You know why? Because they understand that this part is still not widely accepted by the world yet. The world has come around to homosexuality. You understand? It's come around to it and it's been more acceptable. But this is the one thing that even though it happens so often in public, everybody has to be against child molestation. Even though it's so rampant. That's what I want to know from the LGBT community. Do y'all support the rights of your fellow pedosexuals? Because they are part of the LGBTQIAP community too. And I made it a point to learn the acronym because each one of those letters stand for something. Each level, each different deviancy. LGBTQIAP. Don't forget the P because that's part of your community too. Pedosexuals. Keep reading.
Come. 1 in 5. No. 1 in 5 children are solicited sexually while on it.
You scared will go up one.
Come. 1 in 3 girls are
right after that one.
1 to 5.
Okay. Slop.
No sweat.
1 in 5 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18.
Now we just read 1 in 5, 1 in 3 girls are sexually abused. In the black community, that rate is much higher. It will be 3 out of 4. You understand? Now we're reading that 1 out of 5 boys are sexually abused, meaning out of all races, 1 out of 5 boys. It's higher for those in the lower socioeconomic status. So that will have to mean about 3 out of 5 boys in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community have been molested. Meaning, if you have 5 of us in the room, you point to 2, 3 brothers, just know they've been molested or violated. And you will never know because there's much more stigma for brothers to not speak up and talk about it. But this is the reality, the sad, disgusting reality of our community. Why? Because we want to follow a people that the Lord says are absolutely disgusting. That the Lord says is beneath us and that are not a people. Keep reading.
Come. 1 in 5 children are solicited sexually while on the internet before the age of 18.
Now this is a whole new frontier. Child molestation has been around since the ancient times. But now there's a new frontier, the internet, the World Wide Web. While you don't want to you so tired of your children, so you just put the tablet in their hands to get them out your face so you can go do whatever the hell you want to do. You're not monitoring what is on that tablet. You don't think these kids know how to operate these tablets? I sat and watched my daughter. I like to sit and watch just to see. And I sat and watched her operate the damn tablet at 3 years old. How she knew how to go to YouTube. She didn't know how to type in the words, of course, but she knew to scroll on the side to the videos to see a cartoon and click on the cartoon. And every now and then she get bored after about 5 minutes, she'll click on another one. And what's happened, and if you don't pay attention, and I caught this, if you got children that's young and that's on these tablets, you monitor strictly what they watch because the oppressor is so disgusting that they have cartoons now that are cartoons having sex. I believe it's a whole genre of porn. I wouldn't know. But I believe it's a whole genre of porn where people, the oppressors into cartoons having sex. Cartoon characters have this place is the habitation of every foul bird. Every evil spirit, man. In this place, you can have whatever lust and deviancy you can think of. Who would think goddamn cartoons having sex? You're weird. You're a freak. and they putting it as cartoon because who normally watches cartoons? Children. Children watch cartoons traditionally. And the fact that you make this into the cartoons lets you know just how deviant and predatory this society is. Go ahead, bro.
So like I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was backyard against or something, but not only just the homosexuals or whatever, or not the homosexuals, the sexual things going on in there. They got transgender animals, transgender little human cartoon characters up in there too now.
Good night. They coming out and said the show I came up watching. They come out now saying SpongeBob and Patrick were gay. How, Slay?
Right.
You understand? They said Big Bird and what's the cat name? Big Bird was gay. Mm-hmm. Ernie was gay. Like, brother. Go ahead, God.
If I can, I want to make 2 points. But the first one I'm gonna get out the way is they saying now that Winnie the Pooh is a female. That's the first one. And my second point is, what you saying is so heavy because back in the 60s and 70s, that's when we got that term cross dressing. Mm-hmm. And then back then, if you was like caught being homosexual, they call it a mental disorder.
Right.
And one thing that I noticed that the so-called white people, if you was to look back then at heavy metal, you'll see the uprising of homosexuality on their end. Mm-hmm. But they got smart and used that agenda to put on our people. Now they making it a normal thing when it comes to us, because they want to destroy the man and his masculinity.
That's exactly what happened. Like, you look at the history. When did tattoos in the black community start to become popular? Like, you got to look at the black community. Like, tattoos, we never were a fan of tattoos like that. That has always been a strictly rock and roll culture. You understand? Tattoos reminded us too much of being branded as slaves. You understand? Like, even you talk to old heads, it's like, nah, that's too, I don't want none of my body that I can't take off. That's too permanent. There was a time period where it was taboo. The only people that had tattoos were bikers, the few that you met, or brothers that had been in the military. Outside of that, you didn't see brothers getting tattoos like that until they started to fuse the rock and roll culture with hip hop culture. And you had brothers now leading the forefront on the whole, that's where the whole cross-dressing, the skinny jeans, the whole thing was a merging of their deviancy into our culture because they understood the black community has always been the number one community to push back against homosexuality. We have always been the least accepting of that lifestyle. Because even in our wrong, our sin, it's something in us to know, no, that's not right. You want to know where the term down low comes from? Us. The white man is able to be a homosexual and still get a damn job and thrive in society. You know who can't be gay? Twan. You understand? Antoine can't be gay out in public because Antoine will get his tail whooped every time he step foot in the community. That's why brothers had to be down low, had to hide being gay. Now, the culture has fused and merged that you can come out. You can be who you are. You're born this way. The merging and the integration of our society with theirs is the downfall and destruction of our society. The little bit that we had. Somebody had their hand raised?
Well, I got another point too. Back in the early 90s, homosexuality wasn't as popular as it is now. But if you was young and you came out as gay, that would actually expose the parents. But now they made that normalized. Now it's like they pushing that goes to your point, but the child, I can't get the word out, molestation.
Mm-hmm.
That exposed that to show that the parent, like you said, being molesting the kids. Mm-hmm. But now they making you think that it's like a cultural thing now and making you forget about the parents, what they actually doing to these young kids.
Right. It's what's going on, brother, is age old, and that's what's crazy. This is nothing new. This is age old, and I'm gonna prove it to you in just a second. You understand? Anybody else had the hand raised? No sweat. Let's keep reading.
Kyle. 30% of sexual abuse is never reported.
Now, this number, I'm just going to speculate. I believe this number is higher than that. I would venture to say about 75% of sexual abuse is not reported. You understand? And the few times it is reported, unfortunately, they are not believed. You understand? Like, this is prominent in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community. And if you ask most sisters that have been molested, it has something to do with church related, either by somebody in the church or a friend of the family that went to the church, or by the actual pastor. And they are not allowed to tell. If they do tell, they're not believed because it's the pastor. It's Deacon such and such. It's sister such and such. Don't get it twisted. These women out here are just as predatory as the men. That's why brothers are violated and don't think it's wrong, because the society teaches that a woman can't victimize a man. A woman can't victimize a boy. And that's a lie. That's a filthy lie. Because women do it all the time, the same way it happens to sisters, man. And women violate girls. There's no gender bias when it comes to sexual abuse and child molestation, man. Get that out your head, because that has triggered the culture of brothers not speaking up. Get that out. Stop making it seem like boys can't be victimized, because it happens all the damn time, and by women, by friends or your mama. Everybody listen, man, I'm gonna tell you straight up and down. Everybody got that one friend of their mom that she was a little too fond of you as a child. You start growing up, you getting grown. You getting, oh, look at you. And you look back, as a teenager, you don't look at it no type of way. You be flattered. But when you really go back and look at it, brother, if nothing happened to you, just thank the Most High. Because, brother, that's how it happens. You think because you think you're a man at 13, you understand, and your mom friend is so fond of you, her female friend is so fond of you, you think that what she does to you is just like, yes, I'm the man. When, brother, you are a victim. You've been violated. You just the same way sister been violated. This culture is so deviant that we don't see it for what it is. And that's why brothers process things later on in life and make so many unwise decisions when it comes to women and their sexual life, because these things have happened and it's normal in this wicked society. Keep reading.
Okay. Nearly 70% of all reported sexual assaults, including assaults on adults, and occur to children aged 17 and under.
Meaning, majority of the sexual assault that happens to children 17 and under. Meaning, out of all the rape, out of all the sexual battery, out of all the any sexual offense that happens, 70% of it is done to children 17 and under. Why? It's common sense, because they are the weak and the vulnerable, the defenseless. The child can't speak up for themselves the way an adult can. And predators understand this. A predator looks for somebody that's weak to take advantage of. And that's why majority of all sexual offenses happen to children. This place is built on being a predator to the weak. Not just sexually, but just in spirit. Black people have been the slaves in America. We've built this place. We've served this place. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the reason why there is even an America to begin with. And because we're the ones on the bottom, we get treated worse because we're defenseless, because we're poor, because we don't have an army like the Chinese, because we don't have a military or a government of our own like every other race of people. So this place becomes a predator to us, and the Bible says it. The Bible tells you in Ezekiel, you have become prey to every beast in the field. Get that from me, God. It's in Ezekiel. You have become prey to every beast in the field. This is what's happening to our people. Child molestation is rampant in our community because this is a byproduct of us being prey to all the beasts in the field. Because we refuse to take back our own culture and follow the laws according to the Bible that he has given us, we now are the prey for every race of people. Meaning not only are we actual prey when they come in and capitalize on our suffering, they are able to come in and impart their culture on our people. They are able to push their deviant ways on our people. You understand? You got it? Go ahead, Brock. Do you think? Do you think?
Come on. Yeah, I got Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 8. As I live, said the Lord God, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field, because there is no shepherd, neither did my shepherd search for my flock, but the shepherd feeds themselves and feed not my flock.
Read it again, nice and loud.
Come on.
This is going to go, we're going to start going to how this is able to happen. How child molestation and sexual deviancy is allowed to thrive in the black community. How is it that every race of people is allowed to come and push their culture and push their products and their merchandise on us? It's directly linked. You understand? Read it again.
Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 8. As I live, said the Lord God, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field.
The Bible says the Lord's flock. Who is the Lord's flock? Shapat? Israel. The Lord always refers to Israel as what animal? Shapat? Sheep. Because why? Sheep need a shepherd. If you ever go study the behavior of sheep, they have no real defense mechanism. Go study it. Go study a sheep. You understand? A lamb. Go study what happens when you try to bring them to the slaughter. All you hear is bad. That's all they can do. They have no real defense mechanism. You know what their defense mechanism is? The shepherd. That's the purpose of the shepherd, to protect and lead and guide the sheep. You understand? That's why in the scriptures it calls us the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We are the Lord's flock. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And the Bible is saying this about us. Read it again.
Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 8. As I live, said the Lord God, surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field.
We became meat to every beast of the field. You got to understand the scriptures to understand when it says beast of the field, is that saying that black people are killed by lions, tigers, and bears, oh my? Is that what this is saying? Because we're not the ones that's out there in the environments to be killed like that. Who are the ones being bit by sharks and attacked by lions on safaris? Shapak?
Edomites.
The oppressor. So if this is not talking about actual beast, then you will have to infer that this beast is referring to something other than beast. It's referring to people. The beasts of the field are referring to the other nations of people, which shows you the God of the Bible. The God views everybody outside of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as beasts. While you're trying to love them and say we all human, we all bleed red, and trying to bring humanity to everybody, the Lord says, God damn that, they are beasts. And not only are they beasts, they are feeding on you. You understand? Right. I think this one. So why? You can take an extension cord. Let me see. Yeah, you can take an extension cord. Not only are these other races of people beasts, they feed on our people, man. They prey on our weakness. That's why America will never establish laws to change how the police treat black people. They will never establish laws to allow us to get an actual good foot, you understand, for us to have some type of power in this place. Because this place thrives on us being the prey. We are the thing that everybody feeds on. And it's the same spirit when it comes to our children. Now, just feel this for a second. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the weak and the poor and defenseless. Just imagine how much more a Black, Hispanic, and Native American child is in the grand scheme of things. If we already the people that's on the bottom, just how much more are our children defenseless? It's no wonder why child molestation happens to our children so rampant? Because our children are not defended the same way black people as a whole have no shepherd to defend them, because we've neglected our shepherd. Our shepherd is Christ. Christ gave us the blueprint. The Lord gave us the blueprint in the Bible on how to protect ourselves, on how to protect our children, on how to live a life that doesn't involve sexual deviancy in any form, whether it be same-sex marriage or relationships, whether it be man-boy love, with what you would call pederasty. I don't know how you pronounce it, but that's what you would call it. You understand? Sexual deviancy of any form, adultery, bestiality. The Bible tells us we are not to indulge in these things. And because we don't follow our own culture, this is the result. Majority of black women that you run into have been molested as children. Half of black men that you run into have been molested as children. And we have to carry our lives dealing with this injustice without receiving no justice. It destroys a person from the inside out when you have to deal with a violation with no recourse, no justice. Go ahead, Dr. God. Shapai, you had your hand raised?
I had like a side question. What's the direct translation for Yahweh? Is it just Savior, Deliverer?
It's on the test.
Yeah, it says Savior, Deliverer.
You said it's what?
It says Savior, Deliverer.
Right, on the test. That's what it directly translates to.
Okay.
You understand? Go ahead, God.
No, I was going to say, what you're saying is so heavy because to show you that we have no shepherd, every nation, even the Africans, have a government or a military to support them. And to show you that we're not Africans, if all the stuff that we're going through in America today, they will have their military to come in to support us. But we are the only people that's lawless with no government, nothing to help us like a time of war. Because if a white man kill us, that's called a act of war in our nation.
Right. And
we have no shepherd, nobody to back us. And it's to show you that we are the lost sheep.
Exactly. It's proof. If just imagine this, if every race in America right now said they are going to gear up for war, where's our army? The Chinese have an army. Right. The Africans, the many different Africans in the nations, because I know all Africans are not one. Right. You understand? There's different tribes of the Hamites, the Nigerians, the Ghanaians. You understand? All the filthy other stinking ones. You understand? They have armies. The Arab has armies. The oppressor, forget about it. They got armies on top of armies. Who are the one people that don't have an army to assemble? You understand? All people, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. But thank the Lord for the I.S.U.P.K. and the brothers that's in Hebrew Academy. Give the brothers in Hebrew Academy a hand. Give them a hand. That clap ain't strong enough because they sore. You understand? Ow, 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 ow. It hurts to clap. You understand? These brothers are suffering, volunteering to suffer to fight for a people that don't have anybody else to fight for them. To stand up for people that don't have anybody else to stand up for them. To be a leader to a people whose leaders have abandoned them. That's what these brothers are doing. You understand? It's like Barack and Shapai.
Yeah, comment online from the DC page. It says mothers' new boyfriends molest their children. That's why it's important for her not to leave children's father.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. I can imagine who that is. I already know. I'm trying to see which one. Either also come in, y'all. Come in, I'm on warrior. Yeah. Listen, we going into that next, sir, because that's the whole game plan and destroying our family structure. It's the reason why. Give me buying the strong man. Since he brought it up, I wanted to build up to it, but it's a heavy point that he said that because black women are taught that if a man gets another woman, you ought to leave him, girl. And when you leave the father of your children, who do you go get? A man that not only will get another woman, but he will make his another woman your child. He will make the thing that he has sex with, the person he has sex with, one of your precious children, the children of the man that you left because he exercised his God-given right in getting a woman, another woman. A man is allowed to have more than one rid. According to the Bible, it is absolutely okay in the Bible. It's no sin. A brother is not wrong for doing it. A brother can have 0 wives. He can have 1, or he can have as many as he damn well please, for whatever reasons he wants them for. It's a problem with sisters. The reason ain't gotta make sense to you. Well, you just want one because you lustful. Well, damn it. Well, I'm lustful. I'm gonna need 3 more. The reason don't have to matter to you. Just know this: you are bound to that man. And the moment you leave him, you are going to get a man less than the man you just had. Now, listen, I tell sisters all the time: if you got a brother in the UPK, you better tread real gratefully around that brother, because any brother outside of him is down. I tell my rib all the time: listen, shorty, it's downhill from here. This is as good as it gets. Sometimes you gotta let your rib know that straight up and down. Look, I'm as good as it gets for you. You leave me, it's downhill. It will just only get worse and worse and worse. It ain't no trading up. Once a sister get with a brother in here, it ain't no trading up. You have reached up. You act up. You get another man, you going down. It's just downhill, you're downgrading until you'll just stick with the man that's molesting your kids. Because you're tired of getting a new boyfriend. And that new boyfriend, he's going to violate those children. It happens so frequently. This is the story of every sister in the black community down there. Somebody had their hand raised? Kagar?
I was gonna make one point. A sister, no disrespect to the sisters, but a sister that have 3 or 4 baby daddies, but that same sister that have a problem with the man having multiple wives.
Yeah. Yeah, now I ain't gonna fault a sister for making bad decisions. So she coming here, she can be brand new. And, Lord allow whatever brother decide to take her on, Lord be with her. But I'm going further to say a woman, it's okay for her to sleep with as many men as she wants. It's okay for her when her friends say, girl, leave him. She leave her man. You understand? She can rationalize in her mind that I need to go find my happiness. So I'm going to leave my husband. You understand? But when the brother exercises his God-given right, it's wrong. Let's not get into that. The topic is not multiple wives, so I don't want to deviate to that. Go ahead.
Quick question, about Kum Yashalamim, rise Israel.
That's right. Somebody, go ahead, Kagar. What the scripture asks for?
No, so like
a strong man. You can't enter a man's house.
Oh, I got Matthew.
Spoil his goods.
I got you. Come on. Matthew chapter 12, verse 29. Or else, how can one enter into a strong man's house?
How can you enter into a strong man's house? This is important. The Bible is so practical. Christianity is such a travesty to black people because it denies the real world applications to these records, to this knowledge, to this wisdom in these Bible records, man. The Bible is saying, how can somebody break into your house? How can somebody enter a strong man's house unless, keep reading,
and spoil his goods?
And spoil his goods. What does it mean to spoil his goods?
Take his goods or tarnish the way he's made it, like change the way he's made it.
Exactly. The first word is right. There's another word you'll use is plunder. You understand? You remember in old English, like, to the victor goes the spoils of war. Meaning whoever wins, they take all these possessions. A man can't enter into your house and take anything from here unless, read,
and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man.
Unless he first do what?
Bind the strong man.
Unless he first do what?
Bind the strong man.
Child support.
Bind the strong man.
Calling the police.
Bind the strong man.
Effeminizing the black man.
Bind the strong man.
Kicking him out the house.
Bind the strong man.
You ain't no good because you can't find a job. You don't make enough money.
Bind the strong man.
That's what has to happen first. And our oppressor has gained up our sisters to getting him out the house. You know what's part of your goods being spoiled? Your children being molested. That is part of your goods being spoiled. Children can't be molested if they have men like this in here in their lives, in their household. Slap, Barack, this your
No, I'm not.
Okay, go ahead, Shapak.
No, like I'm saying, with changing the way you made it, your kids, you teach them a certain way, and they won't depart from it. If you're still there, but if the man is binding, he's not there.
Right.
Then the children can be changed.
Right. I'm gonna tell you straight up and down from our own experiences. Many boys and many of us, when we got to a certain age, what mama said didn't mean a damn thing to us. I'm gonna tell you straight up and down. Let's be real about it. Your mom can only do so. You got to a certain size, and your mom's like, listen, all right, I heard what you said, but I do what I want. That's why men have to be in the lives of the children, because men make a difference. The men are there to literally protect the goods from being spoiled. You think a man that loves you think a man who loves his children is going to allow somebody to violate his children? No, man. But the moment you get him out the house, ain't no telling what's going to happen to the goods. Go ahead, Barack.
Matthew said online, thank God for the I.S.U.P.K under Commander YAHANNA.
Damn right.
Because no one else is bringing this truth out. And the Christian church is and has always been a safe haven for child molesters.
Damn right. Give that brother a hand, because he said exactly right. Thank the Most High Christ for the I.S.U.P.K under Commander General YAHANNA. And he said something that's real heavy. The Christian church is and has always been the safe haven for child molesters. This is not, okay, this is why this class is and this school is so valuable, because everything we say is right in front of your goddamn eyes. What we say don't have to be philosophized and you got to sit down, and it's not metaphorical and metaphysical and all that BS. This is the life that you know. You can talk to your family members. If you ain't been to church directly, you know somebody directly. Your own cousins, your own siblings, your mom, your dad. You know somebody that you know this is the case. The church is a safe haven for predators. The same way, who else is it a safe haven for? You go hand in hand.
Sorry, say it one more time.
The church is the safe haven for child molesters, predators. The same way it's a safe haven for homosexuals. Thank you. Because that's who the child molesters are. That's who the predators are. And people always want to make a difference. Well, I know plenty of straight men that molested kids. You're an idiot. You can't understand. Anybody that molests a child is not a straight man. They are, what's the word? Inherently gay. To violate a child, you are not straight. A heterosexual straight man does not molest children. Anybody that a child molester is gay. Every child molester is part of the LGBT community. Go ahead.
You kind of say they have sex with anything.
They'll have sex with anything. Am I making this up? You got two women right now going to go home and find whatever they can strap to their goddamn weak pelvis. Captain Sutton said something a while back, and I just laughed because he broke down the lesbians. He said the Lord didn't make the woman's. How did he say it? He said it so scientifically, but it was hilarious. He said the Lord made the man's pelvis to have a certain thrusting power that women's don't have. You understand? And it's true. Like, you can strap whatever you want on that belt, sis. You will never duplicate and replicate what a brother would do. You ain't got the thrusting power. The Lord didn't even design your anatomy to do what we can do. So that's like that is a sidebar. I
got kind of a sidebar too. On my way here, you know how sisters be like they don't need a man, they bad by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So the hurricane happened in Louisiana yesterday and today, and it was a sister that sounded like a hypocrite because she was the same sister going around saying she don't need no man. She was saying it in the previous video,
right?
And she's asking for help from another man, saying, "When is Biden going to help us? We need food." But I'm listening, and I'm just like a few seconds ago, you were just telling everybody you need a man, you're bad by yourself. But in my mind, you're asking another man for help.
Brother, make no mistake about this. When a woman says she doesn't need a man, she's saying she doesn't need you. Women were never independent. They traded you just for the white man. That's it. These sisters ain't never been independent. You were the one to take care of the house, and when they kicked you out, brother, it just was Uncle Sam came in. These broads, they can't be independent. They cannot. Make no mistake about it. They traded you for the white man. They never been independent. That's garbage. When they say I don't need a man, you saying you don't need me. But Trick, you're gonna be in that welfare line. You're gonna have to make that call every month to make sure you make checking on the food stamps. So, like, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say them same ones that be talking all this independent crap. Like they're the same ones that they always got something to say about. Well, a man's supposed to lead. You don't want him to lead.
Right.
That's how you keep talking all this independent stuff.
Right.
When he tell you can't dress like that, you can't go here, you can't go there.
Right.
All of a sudden that you want to be independent and do your own thing and feel like all up and mighty and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And I so like if I don't mean to carry you on, but I absolutely I'd be astonished and I laugh out loud, not on the inside, out loud in their face when it's off some independent stuff because it'll be okay. Well, next time it snow, I'll stay in the car.
Right.
With the kids, you go out and you change the flat tire that we got in the snow.
Quickly.
Somebody try to rob the house, I'll stay upstairs with the kids.
Right.
You go down there, you show them what you got. You
That's
talk
right.
that independent and hit them with that woman's right side.
That's right.
And you go and do your thing.
That's right.
I better not mess up none of my furniture.
Yes, I'm telling you, you better protect us. Go keep us safe. Go. Do how women do when somebody break in. They make it's like it's expected. Like go. You heard that right? Go handle it. Treat it, bro. Just like that. You heard it right? Go handle it. You can listen. We important. You got to protect us. Right. If we equal, if we the same, if you independent, you're not independent. In the moment you can understand that, we can start to fix the child molestation because that I'm independent is how they got the strong man out the house. They've gained up sisters, and this is what's happening. These children are being molested in majority single mother homes. It's another statistic I wanted to bring out, but we're gonna go to these articles about go to the next one I had about the Greeks.
Oh wait,
I'm gonna be able to bring these jumps out for sure.
Hold on, I got the Greeks one.
Okay.
The one you got the Greeks.
I got the child, the young child. Let me see.
His parents fared worse.
Not yet, not that one yet, not yet. Go to what was
what was
pederasty in ancient Greece, and pull this picture up too.
All right, Kagama send this
online, right? So they can see. This is the people that y'all want to. Omega Phi, Kappa, Alpha, Sigma, Theta, and all that garbage. These are people that you following after. You understand? There's no wonder why you so gay and experimental in college, because you taking on a culture and the spirit that you don't even understand. Mm-hmm. Oh, you pledging? Yeah, girl, I'm a Delta. I'm a Theta. Oh, girl, he an Omega. He a Kappa. Yeah, Theta new. Theta what? And all that gay garbage, man. Gay. It's absolutely gay. And a real woman will see a nigga that's in that, and she like, gay.
What are you doing there on the camera?
Yeah, what are you doing? You stepping. Like we sisters in the UPK want real steppers. Right. Brothers that's gonna step to go to war, not no goddamn purple pepper stepper. You understand? Right. It's like, go ahead, God.
I got I want to bring out a point. I got a friend I used to go to school with. I'm gonna say his name. His name Donnell.
And he used to call the nigga out.
Yeah.
Donnell be watching. He calling you out.
Yeah. And he probably watching it because of the shit on my Facebook. But he got older and he went into one of those Delta camps. And I asked him. I seen a video of the brothers. I said brothers Salaki. They had purple. And they was dancing with their ass out. And I asked him, why do y'all do that? He said, it's not gay. It's a sign of masculinity, and you're not shameful. That's what he told me. Okay. And they smack each other after they go, who?
Yeah, I can imagine with the camera off, it's a lot more going on.
Yeah, kind of.
He getting pumped in the butt, being told it's a sign of masculinity. Yikes. Don't be ashamed. Take it, brother. At that point, you far gone. To have your bare tail out and to come out your mouth and say, this is a sign of masculinity. Don't be ashamed, brother. That's gay and proud. That's what that is. You far gone out. And listen, for sisters, y'all want these college educated. Now listen. Let me clarify. There's nothing wrong with brothers going to college, but it's a certain stereotype that black women want. The Fortune 500 people. Oh, he pledged this and that. When these brothers be full on sodomites, full blood brother. If he is allowed to have that to happen to himself, just know what he's capable of doing to your children. Go Go ahead, Shapak.
So like, I want to say when I was younger, the first time I ever really saw stepping was watching A Different World with Lisa Bonet.
Yeah.
And just thinking about like why they doing what the girls do outside when they jump and rope. You know, when they be stomping their feet and smacking and they got little certain routines that they do. Like that's what that looks like to me.
That's exactly what it is. When they double dutching, I said up, boom, chicken boom, I said up. And then you turn around with your big brother show, boom, shaka, waka, shaka. You gay. Gay, man. There's nothing masculine about that. You're doing what the little girls on the block used to do.
Right.
Read it, article. Let's get it. Let's go into these homosexuals. Let's get into it. Okay, let's go. If we get flagged, then so be it. Right? Is there any way you can zoom in on this picture? I need them to see.
Every time I zoomed in, if I go again one more up, it cuts to the screen in half for some reason.
What you mean?
On the actual website, not anything to do with
save the image.
Save the image.
Yep. So what you do is save the image, and then
just open it up.
Go to the file and hit preview. Right click. So save the image, and then go to like where you pull up the picture files, and then hit preview over the file. And it's going when you preview, it's going to allow you to zoom in. That's how I had to do it to show the pictures for Commander G on the show. But I need them to see what's on here. So, like, viewer discretion is advised. This is a very graphic image, but this is the history of the people that you want to love and you want to join, and that you think are so sophisticated and so wise and so just better than us. Kagar, read.
What was pederasty in ancient Greece? Pederasty in ancient Greece was the name given to a sexual relationship between an adult male and young boy.
Pederasty, go ahead, bro. Oh yeah, that's it. Yep. Pederasty was the name given to a sexual relationship between who?
Between an adult male and a young boy.
If you watching the screen right now, it's Salaki for the graphic image. But this is archaeology of the Greeks depicting the culture that they had. The Greeks were absolutely famous for what you call today pederasty, which is, read it again.
Pederasty in ancient Greece was the name given to a sexual relationship between an adult male and a young boy.
This is what you're looking at right here. The Greeks were so famous for it that they had to put it on pots and clay pots and all their archaeology. This was their normal culture. It was normal. It was absolutely normal. I'll give you a better one, blow your mind. You want to know what the term mentor comes from? The term mentor and mentee, it comes from the Greeks. That's why in the UPK we don't ever say that. We don't ever say, "Oh, that's my mentor." That is the relationship that this is describing. An older man sexually grooming you, you understand, and having sex with you, but in turn, he's teaching you knowledge. That's black people always want to quote the famous philosophers, Aristotle and Socrates and Plato. Did you know that Aristotle was the boy lover to Socrates? Socrates was the mentor to Aristotle, and he was his boy lover, but he taught him a lot of the knowledge that he had in turn while he's molesting this boy. That's what that whole big brother program, all that garbage, it comes from this. It literally is modeled after the Greek society of men having sexual relationships with boys. Not just having sex with them. I'm talking about full out, this is my boy. This is my boy. He belongs to me. It was that serious with these homosexual oppressors. You understand? And you see a lot of the remnants in our society now, the Big Brother program, the mentor-mentee program, all that garbage. Keep reading.
Usually in his teens. But how was pederasty conducted? How common was it? And was it socially accepted? Professor Paul Cartledge from the University of Cambridge explains.
Drop that one. Give me the next one, because this keep having a pop up on this jump.
Yeah, man, the same thing.
Yeah, go to the next one. Let's get right to the meat and potatoes. Barack, pull it up and pull up these images that's on this site now.
That's like you want to put up the kids of gay parents?
No.
That's what I have.
You got it's homosexuality and male love in ancient Greece.
Oh,
You got that one?
no, I don't got that.
Oh, homosexual.
If you could, bro, send it to one of them real quick, and then I need you to pull up the picture that's on this site.
Okay, I got you right here. Sending it to could God send it to you right now? And pull the image up that's on that site. Right?
Yep, you're gonna see it's gonna be an image of
The statue?
a statue with the cat with his
Yes.
arm around the eagle.
Yes.
You got the guard?
Come.
You could.
Male love in ancient Greece. Or would you like me to start from?
Let's see. Yeah, start. Go to
Despite-
despite. Yeah.
Come. Despite some progress in the matter since the Victorian age, it still is not seen that the full content and importance of homosexual love is classical ethics, and throughout all ancient Greece is common knowledge. Today,
Meaning it's common knowledge that homosexual and boy love throughout Greece was prevalent. It was part of society. It was as popular as a man being with a woman. Keep reading.
indeed, knowledge of male love may be even rarer than it was in Fitzgerald's time, since classical studies are no longer present in most schools, and in the universities, the subject attracts only the few. It is important in the beginning to define our vocabulary, the term homosexuality, as it is used and understood today. It's not acceptable to Greek antiquity.
Antiquity.
Antiquity
Means just ancient times.
Antiquity for three reasons. First of all, most Greeks were bisexual.
Read again.
First of all, most Greeks were bisexual.
First of all, most Greeks were bisexual. This is not our words. This is the historical analysis and reading the Greeks' own records. Now, if you know anything about the Greeks, who modeled their society after the Greeks? Rome. You understand? That's why a lot of times you have a wrestling style called Greco-Roman wrestling, because it was the same style, because Rome modeled themselves after Greece. That's why you have Jupiter, who is the what god? The Roman god, modeled after who? Zeus. Jupiter is the Roman version of the Greek Zeus. You understand? Cupid is the Roman version of the Greek Eros. E-R-O-S. Well, that's where you get the term arrow from. Cupid's arrow. Or the term erotic from Cupid. Eros, the Greek god. Cupid is the Roman version. Rome and Greece were the same empire, but just ruled by different Edomites. You understand? So when we read about Greece, it applies to Rome as well. Keep reading.
Come. Second, homosexuality and gay sexual identities are recent developments, emerging only in the 20th century. Our idea of what is...
Go down to...
The Greek word?
The Greek word for homosexual love.
Come. The Greek word for homosexual love between a man and youth was pederastia, hence pederasty, derived from pious, boy, and errant, to love, meaning emotional and sensational affections for a pios,
for a boy.
A common synonym for beloved boys in Greek writing is ta pedika, the boyish. The youth was attracted.
Read it again. Read it right, Barbershop.
The youths who attracted men's attention range in age from adolescence. Adolescence to early manhood, as can be seen from the image that have come down to use on Greek pottery and sculpture. Relationships with overly young boys were frowned upon then as they are now. through some Greek beloved use, would have fallen below the age of consent in many modern countries. One mark of beloved right for a man's attention.
Stop right there. Now they said it's frowned upon, and it's the reason why they say it's frowned upon. They say it's frowned upon because after a certain time period, there was a law passed that men had to get married because this was so common. Men being attracted to boys was so common that what was happening? They just full out forsake women. They stopped marrying women. You understand? They even when they were dealing with women, they only dealt with them to have babies. But their lust for boys was so strong, they even stopped procreating with women. And that's why Greece passed the law and Rome passed the exact same law in their empire that you had to get married at some point in your life. So that's at that time period, that's when it started to be frowned upon. They tried to frown upon it then to encourage their men to go and leave the boys and to have a marry women because they knew to continue your race, you have to have children. They understood that. Now go down to social environment, the Greek male.
Come. Social environment. The Greek male was expected not only to marry and raise children, but also to be available for friendship and homosexual love affairs with worthy youth.
Stop right there. The Greek male was expected not only to marry and raise children like a normal man, but also to be available for friendship and homosexual love affairs with worthy youths. Keep reading.
Not to the exclusion of marriage, but as it is necessary complement. Thus his destined path through the garden of love will begin sometime in adolescence, when the boy was courted by many men and will choose one to be his lover.
Are y'all hearing what we're reading right now? These cats, you know how we righteously court sisters in the UPK? Bad women, sisters. You understand? XX chromosomes. They had a culture where they were courting boys. When I say boys, you know what adolescence is? You know what age is adolescence?
12, 13.
12, 13. 11, 12, 13. This is the age when they court. You got grown men putting in a bid for these boys. And the boy choose what man he wants to be with. This is the culture of the people that we have followed. Go ahead.
Shalaki, forgive my language, my speech, but coming up, I noticed this, a term that the oppressor would use for women. You say tight women. Right. You know what I'm saying? They would look at them as they pass and be like, ass like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah. That or the oppressor would be like, the white woman would be like, I'm trying to maintain my boyish figure. But everything about their culture is like that. Why do you think a white woman will say, I'm trying to maintain my boyish figure? Because her white man is attracted to boys. Right. So in her mind, and not in her mind, because she is built like a boy. White women are built like boys. Salaki. But she understands that her man likes that. That's why prior to the 90s, Sir Mix-a-Lot's song I Like Big Butts was so popular because it made acceptable for women to have big butts, because a woman having a big butt was disgusting to white men because it was too feminine. A woman having curves was too not like a boy. They wanted that thing flat and muscular. You understand? Brothers, we always had a thing for tail. The Bible tell you how let her breast, what's the scripture in the Bible tells you, let her breast comfort you in your youth. You understand? Like, meaning let the woman of your youth, let her breast enchant thee. It's a scripture like that. I'm paraphrasing. But the Lord, he made the black woman for the black man. Understand that. He know what we like. The Lord is our shepherd. He knew what we wanted. Understand? And he made them curves and them twists and them turns for us. The oppressor, though, they are absolutely in love with children, with boys. And that spirit has been transferred over to the black community because we prefer their culture over our own. Real quick, God.
Now I'm going to say, to show you that the so-called white woman is so disgusted, I never understood it. they go get they lesbians, but they still go get a woman that look like a man. Like just get a man.
They don't never go get an upstanding gentleman. They always go get a thug. Why, when a woman's a lesbian, she can't never be a gentleman. You understand? A real proper old chap. She got to be a thug. You understand? You know why? Because that's the spirit of that lifestyle. It's deviant and it's to be violent and to be. That's what they mind. That's what they view all men as. It's thugs and violent. Get me real quick. Second Maccabees 4:15. No, go to verse 12.
Come. The book of Second Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 12. And commanded his men of war not to spare such.
Second Maccabees 4:12.
Come, that's where I'm at. The book of Second Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 12. Salaki, I was on Salaki.
No sweat.
I was on chapter 5.
No sweat.
For he built gladly a place of exercise under the tower itself, and brought the chief young men under his subjection, and made them wear a hat.
We read about when our people were under the Greek captivity. You understand? When the Greeks ruled over us, they built a place of exercise in our land. Now, this was a travesty. This was a sin, because you'll read, it's in the same article we read, Kagar. I'm trying to find it, but for time's sake, the gymnasiums were the places of exercise. And the Greek word gymnasium means literally naked place, because the Greeks used to exercise and do all their workouts naked. In the article, it tell you how they would have the young boys wrestle naked. They would wrestle with these young boys naked. Like this, the gymnasium was literally a place for them to get out their sexual frustration. That's why I just, in spirit, I'm just personally, I never like going to gyms to work out. This is just all. Not to say if you go to gyms, there's something wrong with you. I'm just saying, me personally, I've never been a fan of it. Even in school, when we went to the locker room, I never liked to take my shirt off. I always was like, nah, I ain't doing all that. I ain't taking no shower, I ain't taking my shirt off. It was something that was always off about it to me. Come to find out, it is off. The whole culture of the locker room and the gymnasium and the saunas and all that is built around Greek homosexuality. And we were under the captivity. They had us build gymnasiums, naked places in the land of Israel, and brought all young men under their subjection and made them wear a hat. You know what that hat is? They made them wear that stupid yarmulke and that graduation cap that you see. You want to know why that square cap? That comes from the Greeks. The graduation cap and then the yarmulke, because this is the merging now of their culture with our so-called with our records. You understand? Keep reading.
Go.
Matthew says Salagius, sir, but I heard a brother say that during the hazing phase in the fraternity that they had to all grab their ankle in line and get spanked with the paddle that had the Greek symbols on it.
Oh, that's everybody know that part.
Yeah.
Pull your pants down and touch your toes like you a broad and tip drill. Mm-hmm. Grab your ankles, touch your toes, like brother. Listen. I'm telling you, if we know that, just imagine what else is going on. At that point, ain't no telling what's going on. Once your pants is down and you grab your ankles, brother, you gone. You've already gone now. Like, what? Okay, you allowed the man to spank you on your bed behind while you grab your ankles. In my mind, brother, you allowed all type of abominations. Like, listen, man, you gone. And this is what happened. This is what's happening in our nation at this time period. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 13. Now, such was the height of Greek fashions and increase of heathenish manners, through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest
Now, during this time period, this was the height of Greek fashion. Meaning, this is when we started to take on all their customs, their clothes, the little gay tunics they used to wear. You understand? We even took on their manners, meaning we took on the manner of who they are as a people, which is important because what did the Lord say when we were in the womb? These are two manner of people. The Lord separated the countenance of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans from the oppressor, from Esau. And right here, we went against what the Lord did. We took something that the Lord made separate and we joined ourselves to it. We took on the manner of these people. What's the manner of these people? Boy love, child love, sexual deviancy. Homosexuality and child molestation go hand in hand. Literally. God.
No, I got a precept real quick.
Real quick.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau.
Right. The Lord knows Esau is the profane person. He's the man of sin, the man of perdition. Shabbat.
Like you named a lot of sexual deviancy and all that, but can we just call it rape like it is?
It's rape, but at the same time, I like to give the different classifications because people like to do semantics. Okay. And just to avoid semantics, I try to name all of them. Molestation, sexual assault, sexual battery, rape, bestiality, homosexuality, lesbianism. It's all of the same spirit. And they all related. All related. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 14. That the priest had no courage.
Go down to verse 15.
Come. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all.
We seen the Greeks and how they lived and what they did, and we thought it to be so great that we liked what they did above all. We preferred what they did above everything. We abandoned what our fathers did. And this is how I go back in hand. The way you spoil a man's goods is you get rid of the strong man. You get rid of the fathers. Once you get rid of the fathers, the children won't want to be like you because you weren't there. You understand? You weren't there. F my dad. I don't want to be like him. Not knowing that nigga was strong enough to leave because your mother was a bitch and she emasculated him. You understand? And she kept him from seeing you. You understand that your father was strong, but our children don't want to be strong like our fathers and our fathers before that because the man has been removed from the house. Now we prefer the culture of heathens over what our fathers did, our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? We prefer everything Grecian above all, and that includes sexual deviancy. The fact that I can make a post about same-sex marriages being child abuse and black people are the ones that's coming up against it in support of that lets you know how much we are living out these scriptures all over again. We prefer the things of the oppressor above all. Like it's common knowledge that his homosexuality is not natural. It's a mental disorder. So you telling me two mental people in a house raising a child is not child abuse? It is child abuse. You understand? But you won't see it because you prefer everything the white man does. You would lick the crust between the white man's toes if you could. Keep reading.
Come. Verse 16. By reason whereof sore calamity came upon them.
By reason, sore calamity. What is calamity? Trouble, confusion, heartache, pain, child molestation, rape, sexual deviancy, drug addiction, prostitution, murder, robbery. These things happen to our people today. The same way it happened then when we were underneath the Greeks, because we prefer a culture that is not our own culture. The Greek culture worked for the Greeks. They were able to capture us being homosexuals and being Grecians. You know who the Greek culture doesn't work for? The slaves of the Greeks. American culture doesn't work for the slaves. It worked for the oppressor. They were able to establish the greatest nation on the face of the earth with their own culture, being murderers and liars and thieves. It doesn't work for us. What have we established being American? What have we established? We follow America and become Democrat, Republican, and Christian. And what have we to show for it? At least the white man can show America for being American. What do we have to show for? Destruction. Sore calamity, like the Bible says. The way to stop child molestation, the way to stop sexual deviancy, rape, the way you stop that is to reject the culture of America. Give me Revelations 18 real quick. And this is the last one. (18:2).
Come. Revelation chapter 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen.
Babylon the Great is fallen. You understand? America is Babylon. And this angel is crying loud and telling you, Babylon the Great is fallen. America is not the nation it used to be. Go ahead.
To rise no more.
That's right. To rise no more. Damn right. Damn right. Huh? You understand? This place, well, once it falls, is it. And that's why that's my favorite cadence. I ain't gonna lie to you. We'll make sure the brothers of Hebrew Academy, they're gonna be in step perfect when we doing that cadence. Can't be no mistakes when that cadence come on. Because guess what? In my mind, that's the cadence we singing as we marching through cities. When the Lord destroys this place, when we're no longer fishers, but we're hunters. In my mind, that's how I picture. We marching. Babylon is falling. Yeah. Marching through cities. Everything on fire. Already. And we hunting out because this place has to fall. This is why it has to fall. Keep reading.
Babylon the Great is fallen. It's fallen.
America is not the great nation it used to be. That's why Donald Trump got elected with the slogan, Make America Great Again. Because America is not the America of the 50s and the 40s and the 60s. You understand? When America was prosperous and rich and had full control over niggas. You understand? Had us going to the back doors. You understand? Separate bathrooms. Not that was bad, because segregation was better for us. But that's when America was in full control. America has been in its decline ever since they went to that goddamn outer space, like the Bible says. You understand? And that's what the scriptures are saying. Babylon is fallen. Keep reading.
And it's become the habitation of devils.
And has become the habitation, the home, the dwelling place of who?
Devils.
Of devils, demons, wicked spirits, and literal devils. America is home of the devil. That should be if America was a sports team, that would be their logo, home of the devil. You know how the Redskins was the Native American brotherhood? They would have the white man. They have Caesar Borgia's face on the flag. The way we got outside. We'll have this right here on America. If the America was a sports team, this would be the sign right here with a horn and then 666 on his forehead. Habitation of home of the devils. America, home of the devils. You understand? Because that's what this place has become. The white man is the devil the Bible speaks of. Go ahead.
Shalaki, I was just saying, just like last night, that we have problems with us being mascots, but the oppressor. If you look at all his mascots, from the Cowboys to the Patriots to the Buccaneers, like they were all pillagers and plunderers. Right. So like they don't have any problem with their mascots because their mascots, are on top. Right. And they took everything. Right. You know what I mean? Vikings.
Exactly. They revel in them being victorious. No sweat, and we will too. Go ahead, keep reading.
And the hold of every foul spirit.
And the what?
Hold of every foul spirit.
The hold of every foul spirit. Every foul spirit you can think of that exists, you better believe it exists in America. It exists here. People come to this place to live the life they've always wanted to live. You got women from Iraq who've never even been seen naked before come to America and get an OnlyFans. Become millionaires. This is the place where you can come and live your disgusting life, however you want to live it. Whatever you want, anything goes. That's this place. Keep reading.
And a cage of every unclean, hateful bird.
And a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. That's America, man. Everything that's disgusting and wrong with the earth and society is here in America. Child molestation and sexual deviancy being one of the major things, man. We have to stop allowing this to be in our society. And let me tell you something. From here on out, we should mark anybody that speaks against us speaking against homosexuality. Anybody that advocates homosexuality should be marked for being an ally of pedophiles. And I'm just being nice because I really want to say you are, in my mind, a pedophile already. But anybody that supports homosexuality, you are marked as an ally to child molestation and rape. You understand? Mark them, man, because that's what it is. You allow every foul bird and evil spirit to dwell in the black community because you love that wicked culture of the oppressor. We got to let that culture go and come back to our own culture. You want to know about your own true culture according to the Bible? This is a place where you can come do it. We're going to teach you about who you are, your own culture, us having our own laws, statutes, and commandments, how to dress, how to talk, how to operate, who to have sex with, who to not have sex with, what to eat, what not to eat. The Bible has real applications. That's what it's about. It's about practical knowledge. And we have it in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General YAHANNA. If you ain't in class already, get in class. Get in class like your life depends on it. Like the life of your children depend on it. Because guess what? It does. With that, let's pass the class over to Precinct Officer Kavar Mott. No sweat. You turn the camera too low, show.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Under Commander General YAHANNA. New rules for brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shut themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18, chapter 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and pronounced ma'asher. 10% of every penny or any increase the Lord gives you, get to the treasury department of teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like to give. The upholding convocation. The next one will be the Day of Atonement, 10th day of the 7th month. It will be Wednesday, 15th of September, 2021. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verses 27 through 32. The next cookout will be in Texas, October 7th through the 10th. Remind Akian and Agwathian to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, start to use wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headbands, or scarf. And with that, I say Amaju, which means to stand. Men of Israel will give the teacher one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Amaju Shabbat, Amaju, Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yazamata, class dismissed.
All right.